This is episode 16 of the Growth Tigers podcast. Before we begin today, I want to let you know that this episode is supported by Circo Co-working Space. Yes, Growth Tigers has its first official sponsor. This podcast is for the benefit of the community, so I'll only share things that I think are supportive. Circo is one of those beneficial things. Not just a co-working space, Circo has one of the longest standing startup communities in Ho Chi Minh City at its heart, VIISA Youth Entrepreneurs. Their mission is to create a home where creative and innovative individuals can thrive. It is a network designed to help nurture founders, startups, and growth-minded individuals. So if you're looking for a place that you can afford and has an incredible mix of experts, innovators, and dedicated founders, you need to check out Circo. It's located in District 4, just out of downtown. Find out more details and sign up for their newsletter at circo.co. circo.co. Now, onto the show. Okay, so welcome everyone. This is the Growth Tigers podcast, and I can tell already that this is going to be one of my favorite interviews I've ever done because not only is our guest very special, but we are sitting on the banks of the Saigon River, enjoying a coconut and watching the boats go by. So first I want to say thanks to Adrian for coming on the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So Adrian, you're actually from Singapore, right?
Yes, I am.
Can you give us a really quick kind of introduction of who you are, what you do, and why are you in Vietnam?
Great. So my name's Adrian. I born and bred in Singapore. I started two startup companies. Originally, actually, I was interestingly a high school teacher, and then I jumped right ahead to do all my startups. Failed in some of them, and then I joined GFDI Asia, accelerator incubator in Singapore.
So JFDI is?
It's a Joyful Frog Digital Incubator, and they have done over 70 investments over the last 5 years in Singapore and in Southeast Asia. And then people in Vietnam reached out to me of the possibility of starting accelerator in Vietnam, and which is why I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this your first time working in Vietnam?
Not. I've been traveling. I've been flying in and out of Vietnam for over the last 1 year.
Okay.
But this is the first time that I've moved my family and really just plan to be here for some time.
Okay, so a big jump then.
It's a big jump, but not a hard one.
Okay, and so you mentioned some of those failures.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what was the biggest failure that you had?
I think first and foremost, it's interesting how I got connected to Vietnam because I wrote some form of like an article or recount about my startup journey so far, and so back in 2012, I joined JFDI as a startup with the very first batch. So we were kind of building a photo app at a point in time. People were losing their smartphones and losing all their photos. So we thought, okay, it might be a good idea to really solve that problem, right? Build an app that syncs your photos, stores it on the cloud, get some security going on.
Sure.
Seems like a very good idea. And we joined the 3-month accelerator program at JFDI. Got some investment from them, start building it out. And this was the point in time when Instagram was bought by Facebook for $1 billion and photo apps. Right?
So photo apps were hot.
They were hot. And then as we were pitching our idea, trying to raise investment, Dropbox launched the camera upload function. Right? Google bought Picasa, and then you could upload to Google Photos.
So your business became a feature.
Exactly. So we were really building a feature rather than a business model. And at that point in time, there were a lot of also similar apps out there, right? So it's kind of like, okay, we didn't really got product market fit. We didn't really scale as fast as we thought we could. There wasn't really a business model that could sustain us, even if for competition, right? And in Asia, I think raising funds at that point in time for kind of B2C type of app might also be quite hard.
When was this?
That was 2012.
2012.
Yeah.
Okay, so not too long ago.
Not too long ago. And I think you know, also having some context, right? Like 2012, this was when the lean startup methodology started coming out, right? So before that, we didn't really have all these methodologies, at least where we were in Asia, and talking about these things. And in a short span of time, you know, you have so much knowledge, people sharing and growing and learning. I think I would consider that not really as a failure, but at the point in time, it felt like a failure. It was hard because, you know, you tie your identity to an idea, and then that failed. That means you failed, right? So right after that, it was pretty rough,
right?
Emotionally and personally,
of course.
Yeah.
I think a lot of entrepreneurs probably who are listening, and myself, we know this feeling.
Yeah.
It's it's tied directly to your heart, and when it falls, it tugs it down.
Exactly.
So you were in the first class of GFDI?
Yep.
Okay, and then after you saw that your business wasn't going to work, then you joined up.
Yeah, it's not immediately. So I, bumped around, went back to do a bit of teaching again, until I met up with Hugh Mason. I really liked to get back into the whole startup scene again. And then he was like, "Oh, you are a teacher and you're an entrepreneur. A lot of what we do in an accelerator is both. Why don't you come on board and help us?"
Okay.
So I spent the last 2 years helping them kind of like with the curriculum and launching new programs like an online course.
Right.
Also in the corporate innovation projects that they've been doing.
Okay.
Workshops, innovation.
Sure. So in that 2 years, would you say you mostly focused on the startup teams, or was it mostly corporate innovation?
It was both. It was like so as a lean startup coach, I was mentoring I think right now over 800 entrepreneurs, maybe 1,000. Across different countries, right? So getting them through the whole lean canvas, problem interviews, get them to kind of explore problem solution fit, and then following up with weekly calls with them.
Okay.
The corporate innovation stuff. So I worked with clients like Bosch, Sventors, it's a Siemens audiology company, and then so it was a great mix of both, and to kind of see how this innovation, right, it's been taking off.
Okay. What does it mean, corporate innovation, in this sense, what you were doing?
So, startups, like right now in Vietnam, right? It's just kind of similar in Singapore about 4 or 5 years ago. So a lot of investment into startups, and I think a lot of companies start thinking, this talk about disruption. What does it mean for us? Right, big companies getting disrupted by your Ubers and your Airbnbs, right? And then a lot of thought was, okay, how do we kind of de-risk this phenomenon, right? So a lot of corporate companies now have started accelerators. They have started investing in startups. They have their own venture funds,
right?
And on the backdrop of a kind of more rapid product development. So in the past, it used to take maybe 1 year to get your product out. But now, things move quicker. And then the whole concept about lean innovation, right? Can you test your ideas before you invest a lot of money to ship the product, see if people want it first? So I think a lot of corporate companies are thinking, how can we make this work in Southeast Asia, right? A washing machine in Europe may not be the same in Asia.
Right.
The requirements are different. But if you kind of have that thought of one size fits all, then it might be hard to kind of innovate for. So it's more than just adapting your existing product to the local market, but really rethinking the whole product. Exactly, rethinking, looking at the customers, looking at the price points. Then going back to the drawing board, seeing what technologies you have that's available, and kind of adapting that, right?
Okay, so these companies, we talk about why did they do one product fits all?
Yeah.
It's because of economies of scale and efficiencies, right?
Exactly.
So are they kind of moving away from believing that economies of scale are the only way of doing these businesses?
I think they are. I think the cost of technology has dropped dramatically as well, right? You see how Shenzhen is now churning out really good innovations, and a lot of these companies just kind of like OEM or ODM, right? Like original design in Shenzhen, right? But yet I think like even like how Medtronic, companies like Medtronic has looked at India and think, can we make a cheaper ECG machine, right? And from there, designing from the developing world and then marketing $800 machine to the developed world, right? So I think there are some possibilities and opportunities for that. But I think most importantly, the work that the corporate innovators are doing is hard because but a lot of it is actually change management, I think. Right? How do you get people thinking like startups? How do you move like startups? And then if you invest in startups or you have really small teams, skunkworks teams that can rapidly ship products outside of your traditional R&D.
Right.
I think that's something that they're all exploring.
Okay. Yeah. Fantastic. So we're going to take a break now, but when we come back, we're going to talk about VIISA, which is the Vietnam Innovative Startup Accelerator.
Excellent.
Okay, so we're back and we're talking about the Vietnam Innovative Startup Accelerator, which is a brand new program. And I'm going to let Adrian explain what it is and why people should be interested in it.
So Vietnam Innovative Startup Accelerator, or VIISA with a double I, it's a $8 million fund and it's backed by 4 companies. So we have BIDV Bank, FPT, Dragon Capital, and Hanwha Investment. So it's a commitment over the next 5 years to invest in over 100 to 120 startups in Vietnam. And we have a vision that it's possible to build global startups from Vietnam. And Vietnam is a place that you can really get started growing your business. So we are running our first batch in January. We had over 150 applicants, of which we are selecting 8 to 10 of these companies. And I'm really excited to start the first batch.
Okay. And so what is your investment case like? What are you investing? Is there equity? All those details. What are you doing?
So right now we are investing in companies that are enabled by tech. So they have to have some form of technology behind it. We are not focused on verticals as of yet. We think we just want to be able to invite talented companies to apply. And we have applications from Singapore, from Hong Kong, and Vietnam, obviously. So right now we are investing $15,000 in exchange for 5%. We also do have the capacity to do a follow-on investment. So out of the 8 to 10 teams, if they kind of hit certain targets and other investors want to come on board, we can actually do a follow-on fund to up to $200,000. So that gives us increases the chances of success for startups to raise seed capital and get them to the next stage quickly.
Right. And what do those teams have to do in addition to meeting KPIs and sharing some of that equity? Do they have to locate to Vietnam? Do they have to sit in an office with you? What else is there?
So our program is a limited time duration program, and it's based on site. So it's actually a 4-month long program. The first month would be an online course that kind of onboards them to what's expected. The lean canvas, how to talk to your customers, interview people, right? Really prove that you have a problem solution fit. The next 3 months, we onboard them into Saigon. Starting in Saigon, and then they have to be based here. They'll be working here, and then they need to show us that because I think it's a really commitment, right? You say that you are engaged in this company and you want to succeed. We will work with you to make that happen, right? So we work together with the startups to kind of map out, okay, what are the key metrics they need to measure, what are the key things they need help with, and locating in Vietnam actually is an advantage for these companies,
right?
Yeah, and to kind of also have that batch group learning and bringing in foreign mentors, local mentors, connecting the ecosystem. Yeah,
fantastic. And so what makes up a talented team?
So if you want to build a rocket ship, I hope to see some engineers on board. So I think it's just that, right? So you should probably need a NASA scientist on board to make a rocket ship happen.
Okay.
So it's these are things that we look at. So if you kind of tell me that you want to build a carpooling app, okay, I hope you do have driving license, right?
Right.
You know, so it's really practical advice. Like some founders may be working in domains that are not their specialty, but I mean, if they can hustle to get those guys on board as the founding team, that's what we want to see. Okay. So the team, good team. I think individuals at this moment is really hard to invest in because building a startup is just really, really hard. We do like 2 to 3 guys, 4 maybe, but showing us that you have a wide breadth of experience for the domain that you are trying to do.
Okay. Yeah. And so you're going to have these 8 to 10 teams co-located. Where is that going to be?
So right now, we are going to be located in Circle in District 4. Okay. So it's a co-working space. I think it's a great environment. They've been very accommodating to our needs, and I think it's a win-win for all of us to be located in there.
Okay, and so you say they've been accommodating to your needs. Is there one specific need that for a program like yours that Circle has provided? So
I think when you're working with different parties, it's also a lot about the chemistry and the mindset. I think they really understand where VIISA is going and what we're building for. And we also like to work with local partners because we don't want to build everything ourselves, right? I mean, Circle has done a great job. Also, the guys have experience with VIE. Giving back to the community, spurring entrepreneurship programs. We like to tap on their expertise in that. And yeah, I think like demands like, we need 20 desks, right? We need space for meetings. I mean, they've been really accommodating on those really details.
Okay, that's fantastic. Yeah. So let's turn the conversation back to you yourself, right?
Sure. Yeah.
What was your first job?
My first job? I was just a waiter. Just a waiter, trying to be a barista.
Okay.
So that was my first part-time job, and I think I learned a lot about like people, right? Like selling to people, and I think all these part-time jobs really help show you a different industry, right? Develop new skills that you have. So I really appreciated that I had the opportunity to work at a cafe back when I was like 18 or 19. Yeah. So that was my very first gig.
So was your part-time waitering job, was that paying for your punk band? Is that how that happened?
Well, yeah, I mean back in Singapore, I was part of in the 1990s. Like there's a big underground punk hardcore scene going on. That was before, I think there was internet, but before like social networking and all these things, right? So every Saturday it was really about going to shows.
Okay.
Growing up in Singapore, some may accuse it of being very clinical, very like perfect,
Sure.
So I guess the being part of the underground scene kind of solves a lot that rebellious teenage streak that we all have, right?
Okay. So you got it all out through your music?
Got it all through the music, right? Get it out, and I think it really opened up my mind also to different views, right? Not just right, like you start reading a lot more beyond what you care about, right? So you care about animal rights, right? Whole straight edge hardcore thing, going vegan, big corporates, evil, right? I mean, looking back, it may seem naive, but I think what it does is really exposes me, and my friends to different viewpoints. And be more appreciative of those.
Yeah. So were you just going to shows, or you were also in a band? Is that right?
Yeah. So
what did you do in the band?
I was a singer and a writer.
Okay.
Of a punk band called Pension State. So we evolved.
Okay. Will we find some of that music online still?
Yes, you can. You can. So we do have some YouTube clips online. Okay. We have an EP online. It's quite fun. Right. So this is good fun. I mean, it was good reminder. It's been years, but. I think it's not just about the music, right? At a point in time, you kind of like, okay, this is really your first foray, and okay, how do you market a band, right? Do people like your product?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, right.
Right? And what T-shirt should I sell? So it's really it's really all those experiences that kind of I think add up to where I am today. And really appreciate, really humbled by those friendships that have been made. And,
fantastic. So, I mean, that's obviously one inspiration for you, but what inspired you to come back to the startup scene again and again and stay in it? What?
I think there's this, waking up in the morning. I mean, it's gonna get a bit philosophical, right? Like, what do you care about? I think that's something I ask myself each day. What am I working for? And I think that inside of me, there's always been an innate drive to want to create stuff, whether it's music, whether it's art, whether it's business, right? I think there's a desire inside that I want to make this world a better place.
Okay.
It might be cliche, but I think whether it's through my own self or it's through helping other people get to the goals and dreams, I think that's what I wake up for each morning.
Fantastic. And if there's one thing that you could share with as many people as possible, what would that one thing be?
I think the one thing is to really just stop being a lone ranger. I think that's always something I had to learn the hard way. Like we want to do things ourselves because it's faster, right? But you want to go the long journey, you need a team, right?
Right.
And I think I've seen fantastic teams. I've seen great teams, and I hope to be able to build a team that can take that journey. Teams where you get inspired by startups that got acquired, and then the founder wants to do something 2 years later, and the whole team comes back, right?
Yeah.
I like teams like that. And I think it's also part of the mission, right? And vision. So it's very inspiring. I hope to build something like that for VIISA, and also not just through VIISA, but also the startups.
Okay. If we want to learn more about VIISA, where should we go?
So we have a website, VIISA.vn, or you could reach out to me over LinkedIn or on Facebook or on Twitter.
Okay, so where's your preferred social media place of interaction?
Well, in Vietnam, it seems like Facebook is a LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to connect. You can drop me an email as well at adrian@viisa.vn.
Okay, fantastic. And if we want to bump into you, we should go to Circo. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to share?
Well, I love to be able to connect. I'm new to Vietnam. If there are ways that you want to talk about innovation or talk about entrepreneurship, I'm happy to collaborate. I think VIISA, we want to connect to all these interested parties, individuals, and we want good guys to build this vision that we have for Vietnam together.
All right. Yeah. Great message. Thank you, Adrian.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good one.